Today, we're not just exploring a topic, we are unveiling a hidden mental framework. We're going deep into the very architecture of advanced thought. So let's begin.
So let me ask you a question, right off the bat. Does your brain have a hidden operating system? You know, one that's running just beneath the surface, dictating how you process everything? Well, as we're about to see, the answer is a definitive yes. And some people, they have a far more sophisticated version than others.
The term for this is cognitive complexity. And what is that? It's basically the psychological architecture for processing information from multiple perspectives and dimensions, all at the same time. Think of it like this. It's the mind's ability to see the world in stunning high definition, while many others are still perceiving it in standard def. Now, if you're ready to help us decode this mental algorithm, go ahead and like this and drop a comment below.
All right, let's start decoding the signatures of this powerful mental operating system. Here is signature number 1. They prioritize nuance over absolutes. And listen, this isn't just a preference, it's a fundamental mode of operation.
And psychology tells us exactly why. A complex mind just rejects that binary black and white thinking. They understand that the truth almost always lies in the gray areas between the extremes. They're instinctively searching for those shades of gray, the exceptions to the rule, the subtle details that most people just miss entirely.
Okay, moving on to our second signature. This is where we see how this operating system actively makes itself stronger. Here is signature number 2. They actively seek out opposing viewpoints. And I mean actively. This is a deliberate, conscious protocol, not just passively tolerating other ideas.
And this illustrates the why behind it so brilliantly. See, true cognitive growth is triggered by challenging your existing beliefs, not by constantly reinforcing them. These individuals actively hunt for the strongest arguments against their own positions. They're not trying to win a debate, no, they are stress testing their own understanding of reality.
The third cognitive protocol. This one reveals a really profound shift in perception. Here is signature number 3. They think in systems, not in isolation. This takes them way beyond simple linear cause and effect to a much more sophisticated model of the world. And what's so interesting here is how this literally frames perception itself. Psychology tells us that advanced cognition is all about mapping the interconnectedness of events, seeing that complex web of cause and effect, where others just see single, unrelated data points. You know, they don't just see the chess piece, they see the entire board and understand how one tiny move is going to affect everything else.
This next signature, this one requires some serious mental discipline. We're at number 4. They are comfortable with ambiguity and uncertainty. Think about that. In a world that is just craving simple, easy answers, they can comfortably exist in that void of not knowing.
And let's be clear, this isn't a weakness. It's a huge strategic advantage. Psychology shows that the ability to hold two conflicting ideas in your head without an immediate need to resolve them is a key marker of intellectual maturity. It's an incredibly powerful problem-solving state. It's the very mental space where true breakthroughs actually happen. All right, let's decode the 5th operational signature. Here it is. They employ multiple mental models. You know the saying, if all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail? Well, their mind isn't a hammer. It's a complete toolbox with a specialized instrument ready for every single kind of problem.
And this is exactly how they achieve that multidimensional insight. By viewing a problem through different frameworks, say the lens of physics or biology or economics, they unlock solutions that are totally invisible from a single fixed perspective. They can just switch lenses at will to see the problem from completely different and often surprising angles.
Okay, now for a signature that really demonstrates true strategic foresight. The 6th indicator is this. They anticipate second and third order consequences. What does that mean? They don't just think about the immediate result of an action. They game out the result of the result and the result of that result.
And the contrast here is just stark. A simple mind reacts to the immediate effects. A complex mind games out the whole chain reaction of consequences that will inevitably follow any action. It really is the difference between playing checkers and playing three-dimensional chess.
This next one, this signature reveals something at the very core of their intellectual identity. Number 7, they update beliefs based on new evidence. For them, beliefs aren't these fixed stone monuments. Nope, they're working hypotheses, always subject to revision.
And here's the critical psychological truth behind that.
For the cognitively complex, their identity is not tied to being right. It's tied to the process of getting closer to the truth. So changing their mind isn't a failure to them, it's a successful update to their operating system.
And finally, we've arrived at a very subtle but absolutely master-level distinction. The eighth and final signature is this. They differentiate the complex from the complicated. This might sound similar, but it's a high-level diagnostic skill that completely changes their entire approach to problem solving.
This analogy makes it crystal clear. Think about a jet engine. It's complicated, right? Tons of parts, but it's ultimately predictable. Now think about a rainforest ecosystem. That's complex. Its behavior is emergent and unpredictable. People with this signature, they know which type of problem they're facing, and they don't waste time trying to apply a predictable solution to an unpredictable system.
So, there you have it. We've revealed the 8 core signatures. Now for the application. It's time to audit your own mental wiring.
Here's the full checklist. I'd suggest you save this, use it to audit your own mental wiring, look at each signature, ask yourself, where am I strong and where could my own operating system use an upgrade? Remember, this isn't a test. Think of it as a blueprint for your own cognitive growth.
So I'll leave you with this final diagnostic question. Which one of these signatures resonates most with your own mental code? Because understanding your cognitive architecture, that is the very first step toward mastering it. And if you want to keep upgrading your mental OS, make sure you follow for more.